Welcome. I'm Cassandra, and this is your general and love forecast for 18. This is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. I'd like to take a moment to let everyone know that is viewing this video that this is a general reading for the masses. So this reading is for mass consumption, essentially. So parts of it resonate with you. Sometimes all of it can resonate with you, and sometimes none of it will. And typically, if I get through the first 5 cards and you feel that none of it is resonating with you, then just go ahead and move along to the next video. Typically, my readings can be perceived as negative, sometimes hardcore, but that is because I read for those who are truly in a tough spot, who feel that they are blocked and they need help. So my reading tends to resonate with those that are going through some serious situations and need guidance. So if your life is almost perfect, then I'm definitely not the reader for you. So just want to put that out there. And again, take what resonates from the reading and leave the rest, okay? And always remember, you have free will. So nothing isn't set in stone. Sometimes if we simply change a small behavior, we can completely alter our future, our destiny. The power is truly in your hands, okay? And nothing's going to resonate more than actual personal reading, but to each his own. But I just want you guys to know that, take what resonates and leave the rest. People tend to take this very seriously, and I don't want people taking this energy on as theirs if they're not really resonating with the first 5 cards, okay? Because this is not for them. So, with that explained, let's jump into this. Okay, so for the first card, Aquarius Suns, Aquarius Moons, and Aquarius Risings, we have the of Wands in the reverse position. So this is about carrying extremely heavy burdens, extremely burdensome type of responsibilities. Perhaps some of you have even taken on some responsibility or burdens from potentially a family member or someone that you're very close with, that or someone tried to get you to take on the responsibilities. But see, with this type of energy, you've got such a heavy load that this is too big of a load for one person to carry. And the upside here is, since it's in the reverse position, you guys have literally thrown this burden down. Like, look, I cannot keep carrying all of this weight. I can't keep doing it, And that's the absolute truth, because this is too much for any one person to carry, It's too much responsibility, So sometimes you just got to throw those wands down, and you got to pick and choose which burdens you choose to focus on, So sometimes we have a tendency to take on others' burdens or, carry other people, through life. And this is a card of saying, hey, we can't continue to do this anymore, because it can really begin to make one ill. You can only push yourself so far, because you're going to end up becoming exhausted, mentally, physically, emotionally, or all three. It's just too much for one to carry. So this is like feeling like 1,000 pounds is literally came off of your shoulders. Like, Jesus, if I'd have known, if I just threw all these burdens down and these responsibilities down a long time ago, life could have been easier. But, we live and we learn. So now, to clarify, we have the Death card. So that definitely shows there was an end, Something came to an end in your life. Now this is not saying that someone has died, okay? A lot of people want to jump to, Oh my God, am I going to die? No. I mean, we're all going to die someday, but no, that's not this card of the time. This is about change. Change and transformation and rebirth. So, some sort of situation has come to a close. You know, perhaps the situation was you deciding to drop those burdens. Maybe you were carrying perhaps a family member or a friend extra burdens and you realized I can't do it anymore. So you dropped it. So essentially, you caused this change, and this change was very necessary. It had to happen. So, whatever this situation is for you, it was necessary. It was time to let it go because when I see the death card, then I automatically know that the situation that is attached to it has essentially blocked you and it had prevented you from moving forward. And so now that the death card is here, it's showing that you've been released. And so you are free to move forward with a fresh new start, a clean slate, so to speak. And without all this heavy burdens and all these super heavy responsibilities. And more times than not, you're taking on more responsibilities than what are actually yours. So, yes, a death to that. And that would be very necessary because, we all have enough irons in the fire, so to speak. You can't take on other people's. I mean, you can, but you can only do it for so long. It'll break you down. So, that was very necessary. Okay. So this would be your circumstances. So here we have the two of coins in the reverse position. So this would indicate that you are definitely taking on too much, especially in regards to finances. Now, this is still indicating that there's just too many irons in the fire, so we definitely need to continue learning from this particular situation because there are too many irons in the fire. Perhaps maybe some of you are working 2 or 3 jobs, and maybe that, is necessary for you to, make ends meet financially, so to speak. But with this particular energy, unfortunately, you can't continue to juggle all of these different things because they're not getting the best of your attention. You are not able to do a good job at all of these things because there's too many and they're simply overwhelming. Whether you realize this on a conscious level or not, they're overwhelming you and you are not able to do your very best when you are scattering yourself into so many different areas. And so the overall message here is you need to really narrow down, which should I focus on? So if this is about jobs, for instance, maybe you need to pick the job that, has benefits, that pays more money, maybe it's closer to home, whatever the situation be. You need to pick the one that is more solid, the one that is more stable, that's more structured, and will provide you with more in the long run, and this will allow you to be able to do a better job at your job, so to speak, and you won't be so scattered, so you can apply yourself truly to it. Now, this can also indicate that perhaps maybe you're juggling your financial resources. So some of you could be having a hard time making ends meet, and you just got a lot of irons in the fire. Perhaps you got a lot of bills that are due. But again, this is a sign that, you're trying to juggle too much. Maybe you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. But we really need to try to narrow it down because as things sit in this very moment, it's just too much. You need to focus more on, 1 or 2 things as opposed to 10, So you really got to pick wisely. And also, some disappointing news financially could potentially occur here. Now, we clarify and we get the world in the reverse position. So, the world in the reverse position indicates that we have failed to learn a lesson somewhere along the line. Perhaps we've continued to do something that we know we shouldn't do. Perhaps this could just be indicating that there just seems to be unending delays and frustrations and setbacks when it comes to achieving your financial stability. But a lot of times this is indicating that you need to go back because you have missed something. There's more work to be done, okay? And this really comes down to, this could be different things actually. Are you very impatient? If you are very impatient and you want things done like yesterday, like last month, this might be one of the things that you need to work on. Is learning to be patient. It's hard. It's easier said than done, but it it's very achievable. You can do it. We need to learn to be patient because if we're trying to speed through everything, we miss so many different opportunities and you just don't realize it because you're just speeding right through trying to get everything done. But yet we're missing valuable opportunities. And if we slowed down, we would realize that. But yes, this is definitely indicating that more work needs to be done in order to, you know, attain our self actualization. Okay, so this would be the focus position. Now we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this could indicate that perhaps maybe you guys might be having some good luck. Maybe some of you have received some extra money. Maybe some of you have, recently gotten a pay raise, a promotion. Maybe some of you might have, won a sweepstakes, on a lotto ticket. Or maybe for some of you, things just seem to be going a little bit easier. Or for some of you, you might feel like, hey, I have that feeling, I know that things are going to get better. But overall, this card is definitely showing that things are working in your favor, whether you can see it and realize it or not. Things are things are going in your favor, but there is also a very sense of fatedness around this card. So whatever this card brings is very much fated, okay? And the same can be said with all the majors, all the trump cards, but this one especially. Now, we clarify and we have the High Priestess. So, the High Priestess is about listening to that voice in our head. It's about listening to our intuition. It's about listening to our gut feeling. So if you feel that something's coming, like, there's a big change coming, you're absolutely correct. There is a change coming. If you feel that there's a situation in your life that's not quite right, or a certain person, you're absolutely right. You're not crazy, okay? So do not ignore your intuition. Listen to that intuition because it will be extremely valuable right now. And your intuition could even lead you to some opportunities, okay? But the high priestess, she's always about saying, you need to look deeper. You need to look because there's more than meets the eye to a situation. And that can be said about a lot of things and just about everyone, because a lot of people tend to put up that facade when they're in the outer world. But yet, when you truly know them, you know that they're not how they present themselves to everyone else that, don't really know them. Facades. So, you guys are definitely having a feeling about something or someone. And I'm going to say, listen to your intuition. Absolutely. Listen to it. Okay, so this would be your recent past or the energy that is currently passing. We have the King of Cups in the reverse position. So with this particular card in the reverse position, this can indicate that, something could have happened that definitely upsets you on an emotional level. It's almost kind of like being emotionally provoked, and it's a situation that makes you emotional, but it also can make you want to withdraw. It can make you pretty moody. And ultimately, with the King of Cups in reverse, there's an emotional situation that has taken place, okay? And ultimately, the universe is saying, hey, you need to face this emotional issue with maturity and with wisdom. But unfortunately, a lot of times, that's just not what you want to do. You want to retreat, withdraw, you want to be left alone, and you just kind of moody, like leave me alone. Let me deal with this by myself. Let me get my head together on my own, but leave me alone. It can make you really moody, really crappy, okay? But it's definitely an emotionally provoking situation, so someone definitely poked at your emotions, or a situation may have made you pretty emotional. And ultimately, we need to face it. We need to rise up and face it with maturity and wisdom, even if you don't want to. Now, granted, this is the past, so not much we can do about it if you didn't, but you will know for the next time, should you see this card in a reading, exactly what you need to do. You need to face this situation, even though your first instinct be to run, to withdraw, leave me alone. If we can face it, the sooner we'll get through this energy. Now, to clarify, we have the Eight of Coins in the reverse position. So, this is a card that I coin as practice makes perfect, because this is one who has a great skill or a great set of skills, and this skill or skill set can actually make them money. So, you could earn money through this set of skills or skill. It can also bring recognition. So you continue to work, because the more that you keep working and keep at it, the sooner you'll get to perfecting it altogether. Now, this makes me think that this could have been a situation that occurred at work for most of you. So maybe there was some sort of a situation at work and it emotionally provoked you, or it roused your emotions, it upsets you emotionally. Maybe someone was picking on you. Maybe someone says you're not doing a good enough job. Maybe someone's criticizing you. Manipulation possible. But overall, I feel like this is something that stemmed from work that leads to the emotions. So it's kind of like a blending of work and, personal life. And again, that was the recent past, or the energy that is currently passing. Now, this is the present, the here and the now energy. We have the Three of Cups in the reversed position. So, with this particular card, this card can indicate that you might be overdoing a good thing. Maybe you had some good news, and perhaps you celebrated, and then continued to celebrate way past, everyone leaving the party, so to speak, and you're still celebrating. So this could be indicating that you're overdoing a good thing. This could be indicating that you could potentially be overindulging. So this could be overindulging in alcohol. This could be overindulging in some sort of recreational type of drug. But addictions can come in different forms in this day and age. So, maybe you're addicted to the internet. Maybe you're addicted to shopping. Maybe you're addicted to sex. Maybe you're addicted to talking shit. I don't know. different, but it is what it is. And addictions, they come in so many different forms now. Now, another portion of this card, typically this card is about friendships. So some of you could have experienced an issue within a friendship. Quite possible. Now, sometimes gossip can come up with this card. And if gossip comes up, you definitely want to address it, and be honest. And if people accept your truth, great. If they don't, well, let them go. But this card can also indicate that perhaps maybe you were overindulging and maybe you might have ran your mouth. Maybe you said some pretty hurtful things. And so a lot of times when this card comes up in the reverse position, it's indicating that an apology needs to be made. So you guys could be on the receiving end of this energy, or you could be on the giving end. So perhaps you be overindulging, maybe you were talking trash and you hurt someone, maybe you owe someone an apology, or maybe someone did it to you. Okay? These are very strong possibilities, but they can go either way. Okay, so we clarify and we have the page of coins. So again, I get the feel for work, or it could be school. Maybe some of you have received some extra money or a windfall of money, whatever it may be. Maybe you've been celebrating and you just took it to an excess. Maybe some of you are considering taking a risk financially. And if you are considering taking a risk financially, I'm going to say, please don't, because this is not the type of energy that we want for an investment. The Page of Coins is a very good card, but combining it with the Three of Cups in reverse, that's not good. So I would definitely encourage to not take any major gambles or risks right now when it comes to money, education, friendships. Be careful who you speak to and what you talk about. You never know when somebody's gonna run their mouth. So now, for some of you, this could be indicating an actual person. This person would be younger. They could potentially be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Or they could have, the qualities of someone that would be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, earthy, so to speak. Or it could just simply be representative of the energy. This could also indicate that perhaps you would learn about gossip to a younger person. Quite possible. See, this can occur so many different ways or so many different interpretations, which is why I can go on and on and on. I'm trying to rein myself in here because I can go for hours. But yes, in general, you do need to be careful when it comes to overindulging, overdoing good things. It's okay to party, it's okay to partake in alcohol, whatnot, but moderation. All things in moderation are okay, but well, not every single thing, but you know what I mean. But it's okay to, have a glass of wine here and there, but we don't want to be doing it excessively, drinking excessively every single day. That can create a problem. And sometimes, this could be indicating that perhaps you just had a reason to celebrate. Maybe you went on a bender for, a week or two. But maybe in that, week or two, maybe you might have said some hurtful things and you might need to apologize. Maybe you need to apologize to a younger person. Maybe a younger person needs to apologize to you, because again, this can go either way. You'll know which way it's working out for you and your situation. No Aquarius sun, moon, and rising sign are exactly the same. We're all on our own journey. We're all living our own truth. So everyone is different, And not everyone wants the same exact thing or the same exact situations. So that's why I try to give some details and, give different options for each card because we're all different. And hey, that's a good thing because life would be pretty darn boring if we were all perfect. What would be the point? Okay, so this would be your near future. Here we have the Eight of Cups in the reverse position. So, this could be indicating that potentially you might go back to a situation that you had abandoned previously. Or this could be indicating that perhaps someone from the past returns into a situation that you abandoned, or maybe they abandoned. But the possibility is always there that someone from our past could arrive. Now, when this card is in the upright position, we're walking away from a situation, we're abandoning a situation because we are going on a spirit quest. We are seeking something with higher meaning, with higher purpose. We're just tired of the same old, same old. And we want something better. We want to see is the grass greener on the other side. So when this card reverses as such, this indicates a return to the material and the physical world. So for some of you, this could simply be indicating that perhaps maybe you have renewed interest. Maybe you're ready to just get out there and have fun. Maybe you want to make some new friends. Maybe you want to start a new relationship with someone new because this can indicate a love interest, is in view, so to speak. So, yeah. So it can definitely indicate a new love interest or an old love interest or just in general a situation that we walk away from and that we now return. This could even be a job for some of you. It could be different things, but it would be something that you cared about, something that was important to you. So we clarify. We have the Seven of Coins in the reverse position. So automatically, I'm going to say if you guys are considering an investment of some sort that would be financial, if you're considering putting your time, your energy, and your money into a financial type of investment, maybe you're considering taking a risk. Maybe some of you are literally gambling. And I'm going to encourage that you do not, because when the Seven of Coins comes up in the reverse position, this is money just falling away from us. So if there's something that you've been considering investing your money into, please don't. I mean, do what you feel is best for you, but my advice would be do not invest right now because money is slipping away. Sometimes this can literally mean that, you're taking a risk, you're taking a gamble, and it's one that will not pay off. Sometimes this can indicate literally gambling, and that'll turn out bad as well. Now, sometimes with this particular energy, maybe perhaps you meet someone new and maybe they throw a proposal your way, for some sort of financial investment, so, something along those lines. And on the surface, they might make it look very intriguing. It would almost probably come across as you can't lose. But I'm telling you, you can, and I see nothing but money slipping away. So I would not encourage this risk, this gamble, this investment, whatever it is. I would not recommend it. If you can avoid it, please do so because I will feel a million times better if I can just save one of you from depleting your bank account. This will all be worth it, okay? Because this is definitely indicating someone, probably bringing you an opportunity to invest. Or maybe this is an opportunity that you walked away from before. And maybe now you feel like, well, I've got the money to do it. What better time? It looks like a sure thing, like I can't fail. Maybe you know some other people that have invested and have done well. It's just right now, under this current energy, it's not going to work. I mean, money is slipping away. So, again, don't take unnecessary risks. And it doesn't have to necessarily be on completely on the financial end. Maybe some of you are considering taking a risk, perhaps maybe with an old lover. This would not be a good investment of your time, your energy. Maybe it's a friendship. Either way, if you're considering taking a risk or a gamble of some sort, please don't. Especially if it concerns your money, because money is slipping away. The Seven of Coins, this is about you reap what you sow. And unfortunately, when it comes up in the reverse position, this indicates that, well, unfortunately, some pretty shitty seeds had been planted. Not the best ones, excuse French, but, I can't help it. I have to be unfiltered. So I not like it, but, then I'm not your gal, Because the more that I try to hold back and filter myself, I'm not doing myself any favor, so to speak. Okay, it's not about me, it's about you guys. But I just want you guys to be really, really careful because, it's slipping away. And again, you reap what you sow. And sometimes this can almost seem like there's a bit of karma with it, especially if perhaps you might have done someone wrong. It can come back and, haunt you temporarily. Lots and lots of psychic attack going on here lately. Let me tell you. And if you don't know what psychic attack is, just Google it, because I could literally do a 2-hour video probably on psychic attack. I mean, it's crazy. But just to sum it up real quickly, I mean, people can do this and they're not even consciously aware that that's what they're doing. But sometimes if you just think something bad about someone, maybe you're mad at them, maybe you got good reason, whatever it may be, but sometimes if you're thinking bad things about someone or actually doing or saying bad things about someone, it can come back to haunt us in a big way. But, people don't realize that every thought that we think is an energy, okay? Thoughts are things. They truly, truly are. And sometimes we can just simply think something, bad about someone that has, upset us, hurt us, and you did it in the heat of the moment of being hurt, and then this can literally cause them to have problems. It can cause them to have actual physical problems. This can result in the other person becoming sick. Sometimes it can result in the other person getting in, some sort of accident, bad things, and you don't even realize that it had something to do with you. But, I'm not targeting you guys because this happens to people throughout all of the signs, and we're all guilty of it at one point or another. Now, don't think just because you have a bad thought that you're automatically going to hurt somebody. Typically, it's more when we tend to focus on that thought that would bring harm to someone. Now, when you focus on it and you keep thinking about something like that, yeah, that's where it'll come back to bite you in the hiney. Certainly will affect the other person, but see, we get karma that way. So that's why it's best to be the bigger person and to try to let things go. And not everybody is a fan of hearing that, but hey, it's just what I've learned in my life. It's best to not focus on that. Don't worry about revenge. The best revenge is walking away and being happy. It's better to walk away and literally bless your enemy, pray for your enemy, Be the bigger person. Because everything we do in life, it truly matters. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. Moving along. Okay, so this position is your attitude. Now we have the Death card in the reversed position. So this definitely indicates that something needs to come to a close, okay? Some sort of chapter in your life, some sort of attitude, some sort of behavior, maybe a particular situation with a particular person, whatever it may be, something needs to come to an end, but yet you are resisting this coming to an end, okay? It's like you're trying to hang on to something, but what you need to realize is that this ending, it is inevitable. It is something that you cannot avoid. You must deal with it head on. Because the more that you continue to try to hang on, it's going to seem like battle after battle comes for you. You're going to literally feel like the universe has got you down on your knees and just repeatedly kicking you in the teeth. I mean, the only way to stop it is to let this go. Perhaps some of you need closure for this particular situation in which I'm referring to. Maybe you guys need closure. Well, if that's what it is, do it so that you can move forward, because under this particular energy, it indicates that you are clinging to the past. You're refusing to let something go, and it needs to be let go of because it's preventing you from moving forward. So essentially, it is blocking you. Maybe you think this is something you really want, but it's not. It's really not. It's best to just let it go. Let go, let God, let go, let Pluto, let go, let the universe, whatever works for you, okay? But trying to hang on to the situation, whatever this situation represents for you, and your attitude and how you're looking at things, whatever's going on, you need to realize that you need to let go of it. Because sometimes the more that we try to control things, the more that they'll get out of control. Just let go. Let go. Okay, to clarify, we get the Nine of Swords. Woo! Okay, so this is what I refer to as the Nightmare card. This can be one who physically is experiencing nightmares while sleeping. This could also be someone who is suffering from insomnia. This could also indicate that perhaps maybe you're not sleeping because when you do go to sleep, you're having nightmares. This can also indicate that perhaps maybe waking conditions in your life just seem kind of nightmarish. They seem hellish right now. Maybe some of you have a bit of a pessimistic attitude, but obviously you guys have been through a loss of some sort, okay? Now, a lot of times this could be relationship, could be romantic or platonic type of relationship, can go either way. A lot of times there's deception, betrayal involved, and there can even be unfaithfulness that was in the situation. But it definitely indicates that you're hanging on to this loss. Whatever you lost, you're hanging on to it. It's like you're trying to fight to get it back, but you can't. It's not worth it. It's blocking you. It's been holding you back. Whether you can see that or not, it truly has blocked you and prevented you from moving forward. And you need to let it go because you don't deserve to stay stuck on some hamster wheel, A lot of times we don't want to move forward out of fear, but fear paralyzes. It keeps you on that hamster wheel. You're running, but you're not making it anywhere, So let's drop that fear. And as hard as it is, again, if you need your closure, get your closure, but do it and move forward. Because the sooner that you come to this conclusion and you realize that this is inevitable, you must face it and you must let it go. But the sooner that you can let it go, the sooner that things are going to get better. But the ball is in your court. It's totally up to you. Now, for literally like one or two of you, this could indicate that perhaps maybe you might have actually physically lost someone through passing over. And if this happens to be you, deepest condolences. Okay. Now, also for a few of you, this definitely could be indicating that you might have had to have a major surgery, or maybe you're facing a major surgery, and perhaps maybe you're having some fears of death. But don't allow fear to get the better of you, okay? You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. But you don't want to keep avoiding the inevitable, because things can get worse. And we don't want any more complications. So just surrender to the higher power. Yep. Now, this card can also indicate that you might be having issues with anxiety. So some of you could be having an anxiety disorder. Some of you could be suffering from depression. So some of you could have a depressive type of disorder as well. These are possibilities. But I want you to know that healing will come. So you really have to let the situation go. Get your closure and move forward so that the healing process can begin. Because ultimately, I mean, I know it sucks. Sometimes you don't want to let go of something. Sometimes you feel like, this is meant to be, but really, when we got this, no, it's not. It's actually holding you back. Let go so you can move forward and you won't be held back by blockages all the time. Okay, so this is the position of how other people see you. Now here we have the Ace of Wands. This is like the hand of God. I love this card. This definitely shows that we are given a new start, hence the hand of God. So God has his hand in this, so to speak. But we are able to go in a new direction. And this direction can be anything that we truly want. All things are possible. I mean, I absolutely love this card. It's really good, especially when it comes to like finances or jobs or creative type of endeavors. This is a wonderful card. But it is also indicating that it's a new beginning. So you have the ability to go in whatever direction you choose, okay? But you gotta definitely let that, gotta let that go. So we clarify we have the Faith card in the reverse position, which is also known as the Hierophant in other decks. So anytime I get this card in the reverse, this automatically makes me think of the rebel. This is someone who is refusing to conform with what would be considered the societal norms, okay? This is someone who is literally marching and drumming their own beat. They're not following, and they're like blazing their own trail, so to speak. They're not going to go do what everyone else is doing just because the mass media says this is what's cool, this is what's trendy, this is what everybody's doing. Well, so what? I'm going to be me, I'm going to be original. Even if I got to be considered a rebel, I'm going to go do what I want to do. I'm not going to fall in line because someone tells me to. So that energy alone seems very Aquarian. This card's actually ruled by Taurus, but in the upright position, it's about traditional, conventional, conforming. In the reverse, we are non-traditional, unconventional. We are not conforming. We're going our own way. So someone might be looking at you like, look, you actually have a chance to have a new start, and you can literally blaze your own trail. You can make your own path. So this is actually some amazing energy combined. But, I just feel that some of you are definitely not grabbing this opportunity. Maybe some of you just aren't seeing it. And then I feel some of you are just simply being held back by this situation, okay? But let it go. Because you are being offered this new start. Okay, so this position is about our hopes and our fears. So we have the 7 of coins in the upright position. So this is putting in a lot of hard work, time, energy, And this brings a good investment, a good return. So money coming in, very profitable, good investments, good crops, on and on. This is very good in the upright position. This is what we would have preferred to happen here for the near future, but this is what we get for the hopes. So this is definitely a hope. This is definitely a good return on money and investments, clarified by the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands is about us definitely working and going after a particular goal of ours or even a dream. And sometimes the Eight of Wands can indicate that, that we do have a love interest, within our view that, we'd really like to be with. So all in all, these definitely seem like hopes, goals, dreams, of course we want to achieve those. And of course we want to see a good investment. I mean, hope and hope, absolutely. Okay, so this would be the final outcome. So here we have the Seven of Swords in the reverse position. Oh, this is not the best card, and let me tell you what, this card has been rearing its head in several readings. Matter of fact, it came out Sagittarius and Capricorn. Ooh, I'm pretty sure a couple other as well. Okay, now, Seven of Swords in the reverse position. This card in general, whether upright or reverse, this shows sneakiness, okay? So, if you're not being sneaky and you're not sneaking around, you need to take a look around to see who is. Because there's a very sneaky element and something is definitely going on. Perhaps you know about it. Perhaps you're the one doing it. Perhaps you need to be looking at who is, okay? Now, with the Seven of Swords in reverse, this can indicate deception, betrayal. This can also indicate theft. So, let me tell you, make sure, especially if you're a woman and you live alone, make sure every door is locked. Make sure that every window is locked. If you have, like, say, skylights in your roof, make sure those are locked. Don't leave any opening opened. You know what I mean? Make sure to close it up, lock it up, because this can definitely indicate a potential robbery. Okay? In the upright position, it can indicate that something's been taken, but typically it's something that's, more minor. It's not life-altering. When this card reverses, this can be a rather large type of theft. That's not going to happen for every single one of you, okay? I just want to make sure that if you are living alone, please make sure to stay safe. Take precautions, unless you're sneaking around, then then you know where this particular energy's going for you. But I just want everyone to take precautions, Don't leave your doors unlocked. Don't be so trusting. If you live in an area where, you haven't ever had to worry about that, well, you might want to take precautions and just, lock up your doors and windows. Why take a chance? But hey, do what you feel is best. Okay, moving forward. Now, this can indicate, evidence being left at the scene, so to speak. So, if someone was to come in and do a robbery of some sort, they're going to accidentally leave something, and it would be something of theirs, okay? And they don't want to get caught. So this can indicate that a thief tries to come back. Now, another element to this card is if you have been sneaking around, say, an extramarital affair, or just simply cheating, a love triangle. If you're in a situation like this, well, here's your warning. You're getting ready to get exposed, okay? Do yourself a favor and expose yourself. Tell the truth. Tell the truth, because under this type of influence, mistakes will happen. Something will get left behind. If you're a man and you're sneaking around behind your woman's back, the person you might be messing around with, they might accidentally have an earring fall out in your car. There is always some sort of evidence left behind on accident. Okay? And all it takes is for, the other significant other to discover that, and boom, exposure follows. So if you sneaking around, you doing something that ain't right, you need to get right, okay? Because under this energy, you will be exposed. Now, again, you could be on the giving end or the receiving end of this, okay? So don't think I'm targeting you all as cheaters, because that is not what I'm doing. Some of you are the victim in this, okay? But you need to be careful because this is some very deceptive energy, you know? And things that take place under this type of energy are definitely, they would be acts that are really not, they're not forgivable. It's not something that we should, we should forgive and move forward, but we should not continue on in that same situation, okay? It's not good. Now, this does not have to necessarily be, your personal life. This could be something that's going on in your job, or within a friendship. It can apply to just about every aspect of life. But overall, there's some sneakiness, there's deception. But overall, things will get exposed, period. So if you've been talking crap behind someone's back that you're supposed to be friends with this type of energy, somebody's going to hear that you didn't intend on, and they're going to take the information back. Being exposed, it's going to happen, okay? So, again, you could be on the receiving end of this, or you could be on the giving end of this. So, not everyone is guilty of doing something wrong. Some people end up becoming the victim on this, okay? So, just want to be clear. Okay, so it's clarified by the tower. So this is our unexpected rude awakening. This is something that happens very unexpected. It almost blindsides us. This is like the last thing we were ever expecting to happen, okay? So I don't think I need to keep driving this home, because if you're doing some nasty, shady things, you're going to get exposed. And it could perhaps be in a very unexpected way. Now, ultimately, the tower comes in and breaks down situations that are no longer serving us, okay? So if something is not any good for us, the tower energy comes in to say, hey, this is done. This can actually help us so that we can remove ourselves out of a difficult situation. So this card always has a silver lining, even when initially the shocking situation could be pretty negative for some. But there's always a silver lining. There's always a rainbow at the end of the road when this card is concerned. Now, it's not always bad. For instance, this could indicate an unexpected pregnancy, but maybe this unexpected pregnancy occurs through an extramarital affair, or hence cheating. So, a baby's not always a bad thing, but you might consider it a bad thing for your particular situation. Yep. So, be careful. But ultimately, the tower is about us. It breaks down a situation so that we can remove ourselves from a situation that we need removed from, okay? And then if we want to, we can rebuild, or we can simply decide to move on. Yeah, that's heavy. Okay, bottom of the deck, we've got Knight of Swords in the reverse position. So the Knight of Swords is always, about getting to the truth of the matter. It's all about that truth. Now, when the Knight of Swords is in the reverse position, he wants to warn you of a impending trauma, but it's almost like it's too late. And I'm going to say it's absolutely too late because it's already set into motion. So, yeah, this is like a heads up. Pay attention because something is about to go down. Now, we clarify and we have the Eight of Swords. So, this is about making a mental prison, and we create this mental prison with our fear, okay? And sometimes we come to a point where we are just completely stuck at that whole, crossroads of indecision, where we just cannot make a choice because we don't know if we're making the right choice, because we're not seeing clearly, because fear has got the upper hand on us. We feel completely restricted, and fear is just a very oppressive thing. And so, this situation, this unexpected situation, it can definitely bring about fear. Most definitely. But don't let that fear control you. Just know that you can get past fear. Don't let the devil get at you like that. I mean, it's normal for all of us to have a little bit of fears, but this is definitely too much fear. This is fear this is letting fear get the better of us. This is letting fear control our, decision-making process and our thoughts. And yet we end up self-sabotaging ourselves and restricting ourselves, all because of fear. So don't allow that. Police your thoughts if you have to, okay? Exercise that fear like it's a damn demon. Get the hell up out of my brain. No, it's not working for us. You got to take back control, okay? Take control of your mind. Do not allow the fear to get to you. Okay, so I have some love oracle cards. These are for the Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs that are in a relationship or married. So, first one, release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. So, perhaps maybe you're in somewhat of a new relationship, and maybe you just simply have not gotten over your ex. And unfortunately, our significant other can actually pick up on this, and it can begin to cause problems. And so you really need to find a way to get over this person, to get them out of your mind, to get them out of your thoughts, to get them out of your aura, okay? A lot of times when I see this card, I say, hey, if you feel like you need closure, grab a piece of paper and a pen and write to this person everything that you wish you could have said to them, whatever you feel like is potentially holding you back. Say what you need to say, but don't give it to them, okay? Burn it after you're done with it. Burn it in a safe place, preferably where you have a water source outside. For instance, a grill outside. That's a perfect place to burn it. Or you can get a large metal bucket, burn it in there. But again, make sure you're by a water source. I do not want anybody burning their house down. I'm not responsible, okay? I'm just letting you know you need to be responsible. Burn it in a place where you are by a water source. Things go wrong, But a grill is really the best place. Okay. But, essentially this is a form of trauma therapy through writing. So this can help you to release all of which has been holding you back. So this could actually help you to improve your relationship if you do it. Now we have pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you, and I'm going to say that's, yeah, okay. I mean, for some of you, there's some things that are definitely about to pop off, and I'm betting you guys already know. You got a feeling. And then for some of you, true love. This is the romance of a lifetime. So some of you are lucky enough to actually be with your true love, and you won't have to worry about this whole sneakiness and betrayal and deception occurring through your relationship. This will be more coming from a different situation. This could be a situation where there's work involved. It could be a financial situation. It could be a living situation. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship. It could be a friendship as well. It could be a relationship with a family member too. So, I mean, it can be different things. So, okay. Love Oracle cards for the single Aquarius suns, moons, and risings. The first one, we have engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So essentially, some of you are being prepped, so to speak, for a relationship that will be coming in here soon, over the next few months. So some of you are being prepared to be in a relationship, which will eventually lead to engagement. But again, this is a process, so this will occur over the next few months. Oh, ouch. So then we have unrequited love. There's not enough attention or chemistry to keep this relationship going. So some of you are recently single and it's due to unrequited love. And I'm very sorry, but just know that you deserve love and you'll find happiness again. It wasn't meant to be with that person. And you will find someone that is better suited to you. You will find happiness. Okay, I know I've talked your guys' ears off, so good luck. Don't lose your hope in your faith, okay? I know this is a bumpy month, okay? It's rocky. I know. But just know that it's necessary, okay? Because there's going to be a lot of clearing the slate so that you guys are able to get rid of karma, that you don't want. Trust me. It's going to clear these karmic type situations so that you can be free to start over with, a clean slate, a fresh start. Yeah, but we could all use that, let me tell you. Okay, so stay strong, Aquarius. Things will work out. It's going to be bumpy, but trust me, like I said, there's always a silver lining in the cloud. There's always a rainbow at the end of the road when it comes to these particular cards. So it is leading you to something better. I love you guys. I will talk to you next month. I'm sending you blessings of healing, prosperity, and love.